All right, everybody, we're gonna be watching this video. It looks like there's a fire. I'm gonna go ahead and just shut up for a little bit. And we're gonna figure out what's happening. Okay. Got some smoke. Big semi. What's the rush? Not looking forward. Almost hit the semi. Okay. So this is where we get into the idea of distracting things, target fixation, not really paying attention to what's in front of us on the road. Not good. So we're coming up to here. I don't know if we have any packages we have to deliver like the guy on the right, but for the most part, it seems like we're just super interested in what's happening here. This guy is possibly a motorcycle cop, kind of got there quickly, and we're just passing everybody. There's already cones out. Okay. So we got a semi right here. Let's take a look at how close he gets to that semi real quick. So keep looking at the semi. Keep looking at the semi. Pretty dang close. And then we immediately start looking right over here. Okay, it's a car. It's on fire. Okay, been over to a bonfire or whatever. The main thing here is that we need to be paying attention to what is in front of us. We have all of this going on. There you go. And we have a semi right here. So we should be a little closer, or we should have waited for the semi to go. Okay, we needed to wait for the semi to just get themselves out of there so we have more room and a space cushion. This wasn't very smart, was not very good. It wasn't a smart rider. Wouldn't have done it this way. I get it. You wanted to see it, but you could have seen it when there was more space to handle this stuff. What type of protective gear should I wear while riding a motorcycle? Well, you guys are asking these questions. Remember, we have a link in the description so that you can actually ask them. It's like a little email. It's a Google form. Check it out. So you can ask them. Maybe we'll answer them. But what type of protective gear should I wear while riding a motorcycle? Well, full gear. Okay, so it's always gonna be full gear. And before you guys leave, let's kind of expand a little bit on that. What kind of gear? So start thinking about, are you in hot weather? Okay. Are you in cold weather? Are you in like a spring, fall type weather where it's just really nice? Do you have, is it mainly cloudy like you're in Portland or Seattle? Or are you like in the desert Southwest here in Arizona and it's usually sunny? These are different kinds of things that you have to really think about. Are you going long distance, short distance? Now, I know some of you guys don't have the income to have like 16 pairs of, or 16 sets of gear. So it's really just kind of comes down to like what I like to do is I like to get mesh gear, mesh textile gear. So a mesh jacket, mesh pants, some decent leather gloves, full face helmet, and good boots. And the reason why I do that is because typically it's hot down here. Okay, it's typically hot down here, and I don't want to be caught out sweating my balls off. So I have that mesh gear for that airflow, mesh gear for here for that airflow. Hands, I'm okay with sweating. The gloves do a great job. Helmet, good ventilation. I'm okay with sweating on here. I don't have any hair to mess up. Boots, they're boots. When it gets colder, what I like to do is now start adding base layers. So I have like Under Armour cold gear, but I know motorcycle companies make that kind of stuff, little base layers. So I wear Under Armour cold gear underneath my shirt, underneath my jacket, and same thing with my pants. If it starts getting even colder, I have two pairs. So I have multiple layers, and it just, that my jacket and pants are a little bit bigger than normal, which is perfectly fine. It's not like they're super constricted and tight. The climb gear is really good, but you can definitely find some gear on Revzilla. Links in the description for that. But I'm dressed in layers, so if I have to pull over because it's getting too hot with those layers, I just take one off. This way I don't have, you know, a couple $400 jackets, a couple $200 jackets, a couple $200-300 pants. I just buy those little base layers. So when it comes to like what type of protective gear should you wear while riding a motorcycle, I like to think of what I'm gonna be using 80% of the time, and that's gonna be hot weather. And so I'm not gonna buy full-on leathers with no airflow. I'm not gonna buy a full racing suit if I'm just gonna go to the store or going for a quick ride with my friends where I'm not speeding, or just going a quick ride for myself and not speeding and not doing anything crazy, and it's gonna be an easy road. So it really kind of comes down to what it is that you are gonna be using it for. Going to the track, you have to get a full suit. You're gonna be riding to work. You might wanna get some overpants and a big jacket so you can put your work clothes underneath, or carry it in a saddlebag or in a backpack. When it comes to, you're just gonna go for a nice leisurely ride and come back, you're not really doing anything, well, get something that's kind of comfortable
that's going to handle the weather at the time. And for me, typically it's mesh gear. So really kind of play around with what are you using it for versus why you need to have a specific color and a specific brand and a specific anything. Just make sure it's motorcycle specific, has at least elbow armor, shoulder armor, knee armor in those pants and jackets. If you can find some with hip armor, or back armor too, but if you can find some with hip armor, great. Replace that PE foam, that gray foam, with some real armor in the back. Have a helmet, gloves, boots. You can pretty much do a lot with just that.
All right, here we go. Loose gravel brought this biker unstuck. Makes no sense. Let's go. Honda Rebel. Hey, I love Honda Rebels. Great beginner bikes. Great beginner bikes. Okay, we went around this person. Oh no, high side, left shoulder injuries possibly. There's the Honda Rebel. It looks beautiful. It's honking itself pretty hard. Yeah, that's easily broken collarbone. Portuguese. Okay. No, it wasn't. You got an aftermarket exhaust. Was it sand? Let's see if we can figure it. Stop honking the horn. Interesting choice of words. Unstuck. Okay, we're going into here. We're going into an intersection orange stage. It looks like we were trying to rush it. So when it comes to traction, it's, you know, we need friction. We need weight on the tires. If there's no weight on the tires and there's no friction between the road and the tire itself, you lose traction. Think of running on wet grass with skater shoes and trying to stop. Okay, you're going to slide. Now you have cleats. Hey, there's some traction. So when we're coming up to here, we're going to be in orange stage, prepped and ready. We're not rushing things, okay? Road surface looks terrible. We just cut in front of that other car, avoiding the hazards here. And then we have this right here, okay? What are we doing? You know what I mean? Why can't we wait? Not a big deal. So we hit something here, okay? We lost traction here. So when we talk about where we should be riding, positioning for safety, okay, position for safety, we're looking for good line of sight. We got good line of sight. Space cushion, we don't really have a good space cushion here except for acceleration. And escape routes just right in front of me. And I realize I'm really blue. You're going to have to deal with it. There we go. So right here, though, when we're positioned for safety, this is a pretty decent position when it comes to road surface hazards. So we talk about cornering, you know, left, center, right. What should you be doing? Inside, outside, all those different things. The main thing here that you need to be focusing on is where are you in terms of traction? Where are you in terms of line of sight? So if there's road surface hazards on the inside of a turn, be on the middle. If there's road surface hazards on the middle, be on the left or right. You know, you start adjusting yourself and you start positioning yourself for safety because you located a hazardous situation. You just reposition. So here, one of the big things you got to watch out for is that when there's rain, even if there's cars just driving normally and it's not been raining, they're going to kick up dust. They're going to kick up dust away from the cars. Okay, you're going to have dust on the other side, you know, being pushed to the side. So when you see curbs all dusty, you know, storm drains all dusty, that's pretty much what's happening here. Look at the difference. And you can see it even with, this is filmed with a GoPro and low compression rate, or high compression rate. This is more stable. There's not a lot of stuff here, but you can see the discoloration right in here. I'm gonna go ahead and delete these lines, but look at this discoloration. It's a little bit more brown. You see how it's a little bit more brown, like along there? That's where the gravel is gonna be. Okay, now cars don't really ride their tire on there, and if they did, they have four wheels, so they have high traction. So here, we're gonna come into the middle of a turn. Like I said, traction, you need traction to turn. We're accelerating, and we have loose gravel. So we have multiple factors that led to a crash. Now, what kind of crash we have here? There we start losing that rear tire, so maybe there's gravel on the paint, tire went over to the paint. You know, maybe we accelerated, so it spun a little bit faster. Maybe we're turning, so now we're having to use more traction to actually turn. So all these factors, boom, low side. Nope, you grab traction again, we're gonna do a high side. High sides are pretty bad, is that starts to go into a low side. It starts to go into low side, so you're gonna fall down towards the inside. And then all of a sudden, what's happening is that when you're starting to fall down, it launches you the other way because you grab traction. So now you're being slingshotted over the motorcycle with all the forces that the motorcycle had and through you. So that's going to be a high mechanism of injury. That's going to be something that you're going to really watch out for when it comes to rescuing somebody, which we have the rescue pack. I was playing around with the roll gauze, but we have the rescue pack that you might want to play around with, but it has tourniquets, roll gauze, and it has a triangular bandage that you can use for sling and swath. Grab yourself a rescue pack. We're going to hit. So there's the hands go out. That's why you have protective gear. Hit the left shoulder so you can break your clavicle right here. And we're kind of like figuring out what the heck happened. He's not getting up. Left ankle is underneath the bike. Injuries. Regular shoes. Could break your ankle. No bueno. So just be very careful with that. Wear gear. Get a rescue pack. Watch your riding. Be a smart rider. What is up, everybody? We're going to jump into this video, but before we do, grab yourself a Smart Rider drill booklet. Lots of fun in a parking lot. All right, so let's take a look at this. I'm all blurry, and here we go. Focus, focus, focus. All right, we'll get to it. There we go. Cornering. Tiger 1200, great bike. Got his GPS going, great progressive braking, wasn't hauling booty through the corners. Very smart because it was a blind corner. Let's take a look at this one once more. So we're coming through here. We got a lot of different shade, a lot of different sun stuff coming through, is blocking, making your eyes, having to adjust, you know, constantly dilate, constrict. That can play a huge part into a crash, or at least your functioning of seeing what's happening. But if you notice, we had a blind corner right there on the left. So he's going slow. This is, I'm calling it right now, Smart Rider. Smart Rider coming through here. Nice and easy, enjoying himself, 23 miles per hour, just enjoying the view, enjoying the feel, the smell of the trees. I want to do that. I really want to do that. So we're coming through here, and now we recognize somebody peeking out. Okay, it's a car. Okay, we see the side of the vehicle, but it's a corner, of course. It's all right, whatever. But then we see headlights in our lane. That's not something we want to do. So at this point, we have a decent total stopping distance. But at the same time, this person is trying to take our total stopping distance while we're trying to stop right here. So there is a possibility of colliding. So when it comes to planning our ride, okay, we want to position ourselves for safety. And I know this is going to be in the way for a little bit. So like I said, they're coming this way. Okay. What we can be doing instead of doing the same thing is that we can adjust ourselves off to the side, especially at this speed. That's something that we could totally do. And like I said, at 23 miles an hour, you could easily do it, but even at a slower speed, you can do it here with the drill booklet. Okay, 20 plus drills to practice that. Adjust yourself a little bit, but thankfully the person did. Oh crap. Okay, they weren't paying attention. Maybe the cornering was even too hard for them in a car. Jesus. Thankfully they swerved, but look at the gap that we have. Let's say they didn't swerve and they just kept going straight. So this is like the straightness part. Okay, here's a little headlight, and then the windshield. There's the back. All right. So what we have here is he's already positioning. This is great. He could have just did that. Okay. You got to get yourself out of there. It's not your fault this person's an idiot and in your lane, but it is your responsibility to make sure you're safe. It's very easy to collide with them and be like, oh, I'm the victim. It's their fault that I have a broken back. It's their fault. It's their fault. But you're the one living with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's their fault that they're in your lane. It's your responsibility to make sure that you're safe. Take the responsibility. It feels good when you're responsible for yourself, and it feels good when you actually do something to contribute to the well-being of yourself. Okay? Take that responsibility. Did a great job. Absolutely impressed with this rider. Good job on him.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. All right, here we go. BMW 310 GS. That's a great bike. It's in India. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, no, 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 no. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. That's what she's begging you for.
Oh, bhai, off-road ho gaya tha.
Very good. All right, so right here, what we have is a corner coming up. Trees are kind of blocking some of the stuff. You can't really see around the corner, but you still can a little bit, especially at this speed. It's not a big deal. Okay, we're making the turn. We are in the other lane ourselves. Kind of interesting. What happened there? Why did we panic? That rider in front, why did we panic? Maybe going a little too fast, all of a sudden straighten up. I got to stop. Okay, this is where, you know, sitting it straight up and stopping is something that you're taught in the MSF-BRC. It's very, very possible to do it. But when you're in a position already in the left side of that lane, okay, it's going to be, you don't have any room. You don't have any room to really sit it up and then apply the brakes. If you're like where this guy is, you could probably set it up and apply the brakes and slow it down enough. So one of the things that you need to really do in going into a corner is slowly press and roll. You need to slow it down before going into the corner. It's easier to add speed through the corner and when you get to the other side of the corner. trying to turn when you have a high rate of speed or too much speed for your skill level, it's going to cause you to go wide. It's going to cause you to panic. It's going to cause you to be like, oh no, I'm going to go crash into these trees and start target fixating instead of being like, oh no, I'm going too wide. I need to focus and look through the turn and commit and commit and commit. And hopefully nothing happens and I'm going to learn from this lesson. But that's not what happened here. So we get up to here, panic a little bit. Okay, straighten it up, trying to stop. You see the brake lights? And now we're finding escape paths through the trees. So he did a good job. Didn't crash the bike, low speed. So this is definitely a close call. This is not something that I would want to be a part of. If he did hit the tree, what are you going to do? Hopefully you have a rescue pack, but make sure you're going slow enough. Slowly press and roll. When you're a beginner, do it so many times that you're so bored of going slow that you're like, I'm going to add 3 miles an hour more. 3 miles an hour more. 3 hours, like 3 hours, 3 miles an hour more. Don't go so fast that you can't handle it. Just do it in increments, small steps, literally small little steps to the point where in like 2-3 months, you're like handling these turns at the speed limit, maybe a little bit over, no problem, because you were practicing your good turning, your good skills at slower speeds where there's less risk, more forgiveness, and you have more time to really let it sink in these good habits. So make sure you guys are doing that. Make sure you guys join the basic training course, get yourself a rescue pack, and please stay safe and be a smart rider.